say right off, I just have to say, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the inventor of rock and roll right here.
Welcome to the Dark Times channel. And so before I get started today, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you guys go ahead and do that as well. And so as you all know by now, the legendary and iconic Tina Turner has transitioned and she's no longer with us. And I did a tribute video to her the other day as well. And I talked about some of her contributions as a musician, as well as her contributions as a person on a spiritual journey and someone who was seeking the path of enlightenment. But I would be remiss if I brought up Tina Turner without bringing up Ike Turner, especially since entertainer / musician, if that's what you want to call her, Lizzo, chimed in on it. And so to me, Lizzo is comparable to the modern day Sarah Baartman. And as talented as Lizzo might be, being able to play the flute and at the same time twerk her big flat ass, as much talent as that might take, she's nothing more than a freak show. Where's the European Lizzo? Even Adele, she was somebody that got by on her talent alone. There was no twerking, playing the flute. It was just pure vocals and she could sing. And so that's not even comparable. And even Adele, after she got the means to do so, what did she do? She lost weight. Because that's what people do. Once you get to that level and that status and that amount of means, it's a lot easier to lose weight. You have your own chef. You're able to work out. You have your own personal trainer. You can take a pill now. So there's really no excuse. The only excuse for Lizzo is they want her to be that size. They encourage her to be that size. She makes her money off of being that size. So that's why I say Lizzo is nothing more than the modern day Sarah Baartman. And so she has something to say about the passing of Tina Turner. She said that if it wasn't for Tina, there would be no rock and roll. And that's a slap in the face to legendary and iconic Ike Turner, someone who is considered by all the godfather of rock and roll and the first person to ever record a rock and roll song. And so there would be no rock and roll if it wasn't for Ike Turner. That's something that you can actually say with a straight face. There would be no rock and roll without Ike Turner. And just to take it a step further, there would be no Tina without Ike Turner.
God damn, Frost, this tastes good. Anime, come on. This cake real good. Anime, just take the cake.
And so I'm not here to go in on Tina Turner, and I'm not here to debate the validity of some of the stories that she put out there about Ike Turner. What's Love Got to Do with It was a movie that was based on Tina Turner's story and her story alone. And I'm not here to say that Ike Turner is innocent and didn't do the things that he was accused of doing. That's between Ike Turner and that's between Tina Turner. That's got nothing to do with us. You know, whatever really happened, it's got nothing to do with us. That's Tina Turner's story. And that's Ike Turner's story. But I will say that the media, in particular, certain groups within the media, use Tina Turner's story to discredit Ike Turner. You can't mention Ike Turner in rock and roll. Whenever you mention rock and roll, you got to mention Elvis Presley. You got to mention people like that. And also to make sure that Ike's name was synonymous with domestic abuse. And so in the beginning of the video, I played a clip from the Roseanne show, and I want to play a little bit more of that clip here in a second, but I want you guys to pay attention to how Roseanne Barr is trying to set Ike up. And she's trying to get Ike to apologize for something that he's saying that he didn't do. She's trying to get Ike to apologize for something that he said didn't go down the way it went down. And she keeps trying to get him to apologize for it. You know, she opens up the show by giving him this compliment and to giving him his flowers, but then she quickly pivots into a different direction. And so I'm going to go ahead and let the clip play, and then of course I'll be chiming in along the way.
Just have to say right off, I just have to say, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the inventor of rock and roll right here. Everybody credits your song Rockin' 88 with being the first rock and roll record.
But the movie, it wasn't a good portrayal of me, but I was very inconsiderate with my wife, talking about Tina. Mm-hmm. I was inconsiderate as far as women is concerned, but all the other stuff, we just go over that.
Yeah, but I mean, you were violent to your wife.
No, I would no. I'm very demanding, and when I say demanding,
You weren't like physically. You are
No.
denying that you were physically violent to her.
No, I have slapped her. She have slapped me. She have kicked me.
And once again, I'm not condoning violence against women of any kind. I'm not condoning violence against men of any kind, especially if it's unprovoked. I could tell you countless of stories of women throwing hot grease on a man because he was running around on her. And I could tell you countless of stories of just people in general in that time getting into altercations and fighting it out. There was no counseling of any kind back in the day. There was no hotline for domestic altercations. They just fought it out. That's just the way it was. And like I said, I'm not condoning violence of any kind, whether it comes to violence against men or whether it comes to violence against women. But you have to put things in its proper context. And so back in those times, people fought it out. They duked it out. And I'm sure with the case of Ike and Tina, I'm sure there was a lot of cocaine involved. And both Tina and Ike are on record of using and abusing drugs at that time. So I'm pretty sure that was the root cause of a lot of their domestic issues, as it is in a lot of cases.
It's difficult, especially.
But you know what? I want you to just, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to do you a big favor. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to do you a big favor.
Okay.
I want you to look in the camera and admit it and accept it, because as soon as you do, let me finish.
Wait.
Admit
what?
I want you to admit that you did wrong and you're sorry for it. And as soon as you do, and I really am going to make you say it, but check this out. Because as soon as you do, I think all the propers that are due to you for what you invented and what you brought are yours to take. But I want you to do that and let it go. Do it. Look in the camera and say, you did wrong and you're sorry.
I am very sorry. I did a lot of things wrong in my life, but the way that they portrayed me in that movie is not me.
The movie's not cool.
She says she wants Ike to look in the camera and admit to something that he said didn't go down the way the movie explained it or the way Tina Turner explained it. He's got a different perspective of what happened. And so she completely and purposely glossed over what he just said. She just dismissed it. Just go ahead and admit it, Negro. You did it. And I want you to publicly admit it on my show. And she's going to keep trying. She's going to keep trying to get him to publicly admit to doing something that he didn't do. He's on record of saying it didn't happen the way it went down. Why would somebody do that? Why would somebody admit to something that they're saying they didn't do? I wouldn't admit to that either. Basically, he's admitting to the role of Lawrence Fishburne. That's what he's admitting to, because that's what everybody has in their minds. They don't see Tina Turner. They see Lawrence Fishburne and they see Angela Bassett. This is what he's admitting to. I wouldn't admit to that either. And so notice how Roseanne said, the moment you apologize, if you look into this camera and you apologize, everything that's yours, you can have. Excuse me? How are you going to give somebody something that already belongs to them? How are you going to give somebody rock and roll that they created? How are you going to give somebody countless of hits and records, and some of those records happen to be Elvis Presley records, which he wrote? How are you going to give somebody something that already belongs to them? Man, the audacity of these people. And Roseanne wasn't the only one. After that movie came out, What's Love Got to Do With It, there was a few different interviews that Ike did and in which he went on television, and they always tried to get him to apologize for something that he said he didn't do. And like I said earlier, he apologized for a lot of stuff that he did. But he's not going to apologize for the role of Lawrence Fishburne and What's Love Got to Do With It. And he damn sure don't have to look in the camera and apologize. That's between him and Tina. I was talking to a lady the other day, and it was right after Tina Turner had passed. Right after we learned Tina Turner had transitioned. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she had the audacity to bring up Ike Turner. And she said something to the effect that, you know, I just can't believe how Ike treated her and what he did to her. And I said, oh, really? I said, what did he do to her? And she was like, oh, you didn't know? Yeah, he beat the mess out of her. And I said, oh, I didn't see that. And of course I was being a smart ass. I said, I didn't see it. And she was like, oh, you didn't see What's Love Got to Do With It? I said, yeah, I saw the movie, but I didn't see where Tina Turner got her ass beat by Ike Turner in real life. I wasn't there, so, I don't know. And so at that point, she realized I was being a smartass, and her tone changed. And so then she went into defense mode, and she started talking about Tina Turner's story and this and that. And she started acting as if I was defending Ike. And I'm not defending anybody. I'm not defending Ike. I'm not defending Tina Turner. There's two sides to a story. And unless I was there, and unless it has some kind of special meaning to me, and unless it's a personal relationship, somebody I know or somebody I know of on a personal level, I don't have an obligation to make a choice on who's lying and who's telling the truth. It makes very little difference to me. But the human subconscious, like I always say, it's a very powerful thing. People have no idea on how powerful the subconscious mind is. Because if they did, there would be certain things that they would watch and certain things that they wouldn't watch. There would be certain things that they would say, and there would be certain things that they didn't say. And so I think it's very telling that a sector of society can watch a movie and hear a story, and automatically it's accepted as truth and it's accepted as reality. And like I said, it may have very well have happened. It may have very well have happened exactly the way she said it happened. But unless somebody has a gun to my head and tells me to choose a side, or I'm on a jury, unless that happens, I'm not making a decision because I don't have to. But this is the effect of cinema, and this is how powerful cinema is. Just think about the conditions of a theater. You're sitting in a dark room. The temperature is usually quite cool, quite comfortable. And so right off the bat, without anything else, you're setting the perfect conditions for hypnosis. You're experiencing something. That's why people love the movies. That's why people love going to the theater. You're experiencing something that you would have never experienced. And your subconscious is experiencing it on a very personal level. Especially, like I said in my video the other day, as it pertains to The Color Purple, especially if there is an incident that may have happened to you in real life. If you suffered a similar kind of trauma, you might as well be experiencing it all over again. But this time you're experiencing through the eyes of Tina Turner. And so quite possibly, either indirectly or directly, Tina Turner was used or allowed herself to be used to help usher in that feminist movement even further in America, especially within so-called Black American society. Overnight, she was a movie star. Overnight, she was an international sensation. And that usually doesn't come out of the blue. I don't care how talented of an individual you are. I don't care how talented you think you are. Unless there's a plot and a script for you, you don't just reach that level of fame and notoriety on your own, especially as a so-called Black woman. And so as great and as iconic as Tina Turner was, like I said in the beginning of the video, we would be remiss not to also mention Ike Turner. Because if it wasn't for Ike Turner, there would be no Tina Turner. We wouldn't know who Tina Turner was. And we definitely would still have rock and roll. But according to Lizzo, it was Tina Turner. And what's sad about it is Lizzo has, I don't know how many millions of fans. And the majority of those fans that listen to Lizzo and people like her are going to take it at face value and be like, oh, you know what? You're probably right. There probably would be no rock and roll without Tina Turner, not even knowing that Ike Turner is the godfather of rock and roll. And so that's why it's important that we celebrate our icons and our legends, imperfections and all. And so they're choosing to play this revisionist history and mentioning Ike's name only in the context of being this monster of a man. And so it's important that we remember everything in its rightful context. And so definitely I want to hear from you guys in the comment section on this one. Definitely go ahead and chime in and drop a comment for me, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button on this one. And as usual, peace and chaos.